And we are live. Welcome to the window to our minds, pod number 24. How are you, Gray?
I'm doing really good. It's halfway through the week. It's Wednesday. That's a good thing. I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm exhausted physically, but mentally I'm doing great. But this is the last week I shall suffer and wake up way too early for my own health. Because next week
Oh,
as
come on. There's gonna always be suffering. You'll be great. There's gonna be more. Just wait.
well, when I wake up like later in the day, I'm feeling great. Like I even need less sleep. What's going on with my brain? Less sleep. Like if I go to sleep later and wake up later, I need less sleep than when I go to sleep early to wake up early. I think I'm a mess right now. I don't know. My body is weird. I don't know. Maybe it's the side effect of like working overnight for 8 years. Maybe. Anyhow, um, we are live, and DC is not around, unfortunately, but our spirit is with him. Um, I hope you will do great with your cousin and such, and you will come back next week. I really hope so, DC. So today I decided to bring another topic to kind of move around what DC wanted to cover to next week. So now we have how to break circles. I feel like this is a good follow up to last week. What do you think of my choice?
I think it makes sense, especially the one that we were gonna do was a topic that DC brought. So I think it's it only makes sense that we'd wait for him to do that. I think you made the choice before, so serendipity. But I think it's a good idea. So yeah, I'm excited to explore this other topic. I'm kind of blanking on what it is right now. I remember the one that DC wanted. It had violence in it. That sticks in my brain. But yeah, I'm excited for a different topic, and we can discuss violence with DC later.
Yeah, and now I will clarify a bit this first of all, and second, I didn't create any question this week because I was like, oh, you know what? We will have a discussion about it instead of like having questions. So
Oh, pressure's on.
it's the same kind of format we had like some of the last few streams we did in season one. It's kind of the same idea now. So when I came up with this how to break circles, it's me thinking back and talking back about premeditation of evil and like how we need to think if it goes wrong, how do we react? And my how to break circles is sometimes people are locked in the loop where they just cannot see anything coming up being good, so they always have that time where they reminisce, if we can call it that way. Can we call it that way, reminisce, or think the worst will happen? I don't know. What's the exact word I was seeking for? Do you know, Gray?
I'm not 100% certain. Like, I don't know. I'm not positive exactly which word you're looking for because you said reminisce. So I'm not sure if you mean like reminiscent or like ruminating. I'm not sure exactly which one you're
Ruminating. What's
going for.
what's the difference between both?
Reminiscing is kind of like remembering, kind of talking about something. Ruminating is like focusing on something. Like you can't, you're stuck on the subject. You can't really get off of it. So I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure if
that's
either
what
of
I
those are
was
quite.
thinking. The one
Oh,
where you're
well
stuck
then
on
fair enough. You
something.
got it, man.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
okay.
definitely stuck.
I got it. I got it. So how to break circles would be like if you always think the worst will happen, what can you do to like give yourself a better chance of fighting? Because let's be honest, I've said it many times over. Um, you are what you eat. So if you always think negatively, you will most likely have very negative response. And how can you break that circle of like, damn, It's always negative, so it's always crap. It's always like this. Now, do you get where I'm getting at with this?
Yeah, um, I get you, and that's where, it would kind of be unhealthy if you're just focusing, like, you're mired down and you're just stuck in that, but if you're literally taking that next step of, "Okay, how do I get out of this bad situation?" Or, "What's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, what do I do from there?" Then you're kinda taking that extra step, and that's kind of what the whole stoic thing is supposed to be about, the premeditatio malorum. It's supposed to be more like, you actually, come up with some sort of solution. So, okay, I missed the bus. What would my next step be? Okay, I'd hail a cab or something like that. Yeah, it's going to cost more. I might not get there at the same time. It might take a while, but okay, that's my plan B. It's just kind of being prepared. But if you're just going to sit there like, well, why? What's the point of leaving? I'll just miss the bus, so I'm not going to do anything. Yeah, that would suck. Hopefully, you can use it to then prepare. And the same thing with when they talk about kind of the darker parts of it. Like, imagine like a loved one, like it could be your parents, it could be a spouse, someone. If they were to, unfortunately pass away, how would that make you feel? That would definitely suck, but it could prepare you for an eventuality that could happen. And then on top of that, hopefully it would give you an appreciation of, the fact that they are in your life. So hopefully it wouldn't just be ruminating on like, oh my God, this person could die. Oh my God, like at any moment, everything could be. It's like, yeah, it could. That would suck. But how would you deal with that? What would you do with it instead of just ruminating on it? So hopefully there's a distinction between the two. But if you're stuck in ruminating on it, I guess there's a few things you could do to try and get out of it, but that is definitely it's tough.
Yeah, yeah, and you were talking about losing someone and such, but that could also mean emotionally or like
For sure.
losing people because some people have that fear of abandonment. Abandonment? Is that a
Yeah, abandonment.
abandonment?
For sure.
Okay, that's very close to the French one. That's why I got so confused. That's very very close.
English makes no sense. I don't understand. But yeah, so hopefully it would give you an appreciation, kind of more of a sense of, appreciation for everything that you have currently. Hopefully, and it wouldn't just be like, well, what's the point of talking to anybody new? They'll just leave me. What's the point of? You don't want to get mired in that or just stuck in like super negative thinking, but kind of dipping your toes in there and kind of experiencing it. We're all going to have downsides to everything. There's going to be ups and downs, good and bad. So I don't know. Preparing for that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Um, Hopefully, but yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be talking a little bit more about when you do get stuck in that cycle of just negative thoughts or any cycle, I guess, supposedly. But that'd be tough. Do you have any ways that you would kind of break cycles? Like, do you ever get, I don't know what you'd call them, intrusive thoughts? Are you able to kind of get those out of your mind, or do you just kind of
The
keep
best
ruminating on those?
the best way to how to break out of these circles we create for ourselves is to understand the roots of it, how it all started, what's the cause of it. And this is also part of the healing process. Learn about your trauma or learn about your issue, and then you can try to dismantle it by a lot of introspective, is that the right word? Like,
Yeah,
so yeah, through a lot of introspective on your reaction to something and how to change it. So how to break out, like, it's a long process, and a lot of time, like, depending on the cases and what you want to fix, it requires therapy. Some cases are more severe than others, but the first step is really realizing what's the root of it, what's the start of the issue, and what the issue does to you, and how could you transfer that issue into a more positive way where you can, instead of saying it's all bad, what if I do something else and it can end up being good for me? So that's like thinking of other option, even if it's really hard. It's like looking around and realizing what you are doing wrong every time and trying to change it. So I will give a good example based on a story of someone I knew. So that person was always driven toward people that are just like the same kind of box of people. So what I mean by there is that person always seek for good looking people, but people that are shallow, because that person felt like having a shallow person is always easier and faster and less issues to deal with than someone that has a lot to offer, if you know what I mean. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So because that
I do.
person that because that person kept going for these shallow people, that person kept getting these emotionally unavailable people. And that person was suffering from that because that person didn't get what she was hoping for from a relationship, because she always seeked for the same kind of people. So the best issue in her case would be to look elsewhere and to start maybe valuing herself more and to think that she has more to offer. So maybe she is deserving of more than these shallow people, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Because the person
Yeah.
basically thought she was shallow, therefore she only can have shallow people. But it's not the case. So that person, if that person start valuing herself more, maybe she will try to get people that are more full, if we can call it that way, because shallow and full is like two very different thing. I think it's night and day. Oh, we got someone. Hi, Charles. How are you?
How are you?
I'm
Hey,
doing
hey.
good. Are you?
I'm good. I'm here now, so everything's better.
Welcome, welcome. I'm glad to
I
see
mean,
you.
for
Oh, for
me.
now. Oh, well, fair enough. It is better for us as well. Thank you
Yeah,
for joining us, sir.
thank you a lot. So it's a somewhat unique stream right now, because usually I have questions to ask to people at that point in the stream, but I didn't make any because I was like, let's just have a discussion about how to break circles. Now I kind of started answering uh, that question with Gray, but I will ask you, Charles, when I wrote down how to break circles, what comes to your mind? What do you think I meant by how to break circles?
I don't know. like
Okay.
like social circles or like literal
I
circles. You just
think it's more like
poke a hole in it.
cycles, like ruminating on something. Like is kind of
Oh,
where we were just going with this, but
Bad
oh,
I found it
pattern.
tough.
mm,
Yeah, for me, I used to get stuck with a lot of cognitive distortions. I would just blow things out of proportion. Basically all of the classic ones on top of mind reading, assuming somebody did this because of the. And I don't know, I would just kind of get stuck in my head in this
yep.
weird cycle of, I don't know if you'd call it self pity, but it's definitely focusing on self instead of like thinking, hey, this person probably didn't think of me at all. They probably didn't, give a second thought to it. It was just probably easier in the moment. But I don't know. I guess what helped me was actually talking to somebody and having to explain it, and that kind of had me look at it from a different point of view. And it's like, oh yeah, that's really stupid. I don't know why I'm
Mm.
perpetuating the cycle. This is rather pointless, and I'm doing this to myself. But I don't know. That's a kind of weird example of it. I'm not sure if you've had any cycles that you've had to kind of break out of, if you will.
I mean, I'm still in therapy, so I haven't figured it out yet. So.
Oh, I'm not saying I haven't figured out. Just that
Well,
seemed to help me. I don't
you
know.
you did one of the steps, Charles, because
Oh, outing my ex members of a circle. and then getting them all mad at me? Is that...
No.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about then. I don't know what.
I mean, that counts
See?
as well.
I automatically went to where my head is, just like Gray was talking about. I know what I was thinking you were trying to talk about in my head, but you weren't. So
No. So what I more meant is, because you're in therapy, you realized maybe you were thinking or doing some things wrong, and because otherwise it wouldn't be in therapy, you know. Like, when someone is in therapy, it's because they know they need it.
I just like keeping, people in the mental health field. I like making sure that they still have a job. That's no.
That's very altruistic of you. I don't know. That's awesome, man. Very magnanimous.
Yet,
Keep them all employed.
BetterHelp has yet to call me, so go figure.
Well, they might have your information already.
Yeah. No, we already got this one. Well, I'm sorry. I'm such an ass. Me and my short-term memory.
No.
What made me get therapy?
No, it's more like you're in therapy. You are already in advance in comparison of others that don't realize they need therapy, if you know what I mean. Like, because you started that process, you already kind of started breaking down some of the things maybe you did wrong. You didn't do everything yet, if you know what I mean, because you're still in therapy, but you kind of started to fix things up, you know. You kind of started to realize there's something wrong, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how we start to break circles. But it's a long process. It's healing, and it's like it's talking about, why do you think this or that? Why do you do this or that? Why your reaction is this one or that one? And you already started the process. That's the thing. It's not over yet. Again, it's long. It's a long process.
Well,
but
I think part of it has to do with going through something where you think you can pick yourself up, or it's not something that's big enough a deal where you have to get other people involved in the scenario. But at a certain point, you have to, I don't want to say be humble about it, but you have to realize that, listen, this is something that's, I don't have the tools to fix myself, and let me turn this over to somebody who, from an outside perspective, can kind of give me their doctorly opinion on things, and be open to as much as possible, because as much as we all want to keep our, certain things, especially regarding emotions, close to us, and not really let many people in on some of these candid feelings and thoughts, you got to be open, especially if something's going on in your life where you're frustrated, or you don't like the way things are going, and it has something to do with your thought process. You have to just lower the guard and be like, all right, well, here's the deal. What do you think?
And yeah, just asking like that is already a great start, because I know some people that would need to start doing that, but they don't, and it's kind of sad to witness. And if you don't question yourself for what you are doing or what's wrong, then you cannot break out of bad circles. Like, if you're someone that's naturally negative, and you just feed yourself negativity, and you're just stuck there, and you're just negative, and you don't realize it's bad.
Yeah, I was with somebody who spoke to a psychiatrist, and they were prescribed antidepressants, and they just stopped taking them because they were like, I know my body. I don't need this to be happy. And it's like, oh, you know your body. You realize chemicals are fueling a lot of your thought process right now. You know that, right? A very stubborn
my
person.
chemicals.
I know what my chemicals are doing. Thank you very much.
And you mentioned that case, but I see a clear case. There's some cases like that where it's denial. They don't want to accept the fact that some parts of their bodies or brain is not working well, so they are basically in denial, and it's really sad to witness. Like, you need help, but you don't seek for it. It's like, it's one of the hardest thing to do as someone close to that kind of people to be there, because you're like, they put themselves down and they kind of drag you on with them without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you want to help, but you just can't, because people can only help themselves.
I think ego gets away a lot in that case. Like the person I was talking about, I would gamble has some sort of maybe ego issues, perhaps narcissism issues, because if that sentence outright, I know I don't need it. Oh, all right. Where's your doctorate in mental health? Again, I used the word humble before. I don't know if it's not the word. That may not be the word I'd want to use, but coming to a conclusion that I probably don't have all the answers. That takes a little bit of I don't know. I've had people who said it's pathetic to think that way, and I really don't agree with that at all. There's some sort of, maybe more in men than women, but a bit more of a I don't know.
Men have a bigger ego.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm no longer like that, but I used to have a huge ego in the past, and sometimes it's a way to try to hide your insecurities, because I used to be insecure, and the best way to pretend you're not insecure is to say, "Oh, I'm the big guy.
Yeah.
I
use it as a
have
giant
huge
shield.
ego."
Right.
Yeah.
They're projecting and protecting at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And like, one of the ways I kind of felt more secure is, first of all, I realized what I was doing with that big ego, and I was like, you know what? Let's stop this shit. Like, it's not being real, it's not being honest, and I just started improving that kind of behavior and putting that aside, and trying to be more humble, but a lot of people don't really have that thought process. They try to hide what's wrong, because they think it's easier to hide it than dealing with it. It's hard to deal with something like that, but it's possible. You just need to think.
Great. I know that we've discussed this in the past. As somebody who was a lead singer for a band that played publicly, you mentioned
That's
that
being pretty generous.
Well,
I screamed.
Still, the attention's on you, whether or not you want to admit it. As somebody who did comedy, and you said you were uneasy about the way comedy was
It was different. Yeah, so like I don't know, like playing in a band and everything, like at times like drum heads are gonna break, or strings are gonna break, or you gotta tune up or something. Well, I don't know. I thought it would be easy to like entertain the crowd or give them something more. So I thought, hey, okay, this crowd that came to see us, they're actually digging my antics. Like I could get up on stage and do this myself. Without the band behind you and without being able to like hide behind a guitar, my God, like that first open mic I did was just so horrible. There were no laughs. It was just awkward. It was bad. It was just a bunch of people looking at it. I got way in my head. It's completely different. I feel like, if you got something prepared, like a song or something, like, it's not that hard to kind of entertain for a few seconds and then get into something that you want, especially if you have like a positive crowd for you. But man, I have nothing but respect for comedians. Like when the crowd's not necessarily for you, they don't give a shit about you, and it's just you and a mic. That's so much different. But I don't know. I just have immense respect for those guys. I think I did 2 open mics and was like, yeah, this is not for me.
Well, that's not enough as far as I'm concerned, but that's just
Fair
my
enough.
opinion. Would you say that there's no way I'm going to make this sound not egotistical, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I think the same thing for a musician. I mean, any member of the band, but to be the dude with the mic, there's some pressure there. to know.
Because you get used to it, because you can actually practice that at home, but it's like, can you just tell jokes to yourself in front of a mirror and like know how that's going to land?
I've
Like,
never,
it's so
I've never been
audience
able to do
based.
that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, but I can practice in front of a mirror and be like, oh yeah, that looks really stupid. Don't do this with the guitar. Like, okay, it looks cool if I do this with a guitar. I don't know. It's just different because you can really practice for that moment with like musicians. But man, it is. I don't know. Like, you can kind of practice, I guess. Like, I guess constantly talking to people is practicing, but it's still not the same as being on and being on stage when that light hits. And yeah, I gotta say, like, I've been on stages with spotlights before and that didn't bother me, but I always had something to kind of hide behind. And I think that's one of the reasons why they give like guitar or music comics like so much crap, because it's like, you kind of do have something that you can hide behind. You do have these prepared songs. It's not just like talking to the crowd.
It's interesting that you say
I found
hide
it to be
behind.
completely different.
I don't think I've
in a
ever
way,
heard
you
somebody
are.
say that.
Really? That's what I feel like I'm doing every time I have a
Really?
guitar on stage.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, if I'm talking to like two people one-on-one, it is hard for me. But like, if there's like a crowd, like, hell yeah, I don't care.
But
So
you
I
don't
know,
have that
it's
approach with
weird.
comedy.
I didn't, but
Huh.
I thought I had some jokes, and then like the first one didn't land. I kind of like panicked, and it's like, okay, well, let me say the next one really
sucks.
fast, and then it
Yeah.
just kept snowballing. It's like nobody is laughing. They could see me like panicking, like, oh my god, I'm sweating. Yeah, it got weird, man. But I don't know. I guess when I'm thinking back to like my first gig that I did like with a band, I guess I was really nervous going into that, but I don't know. Again, like, you got that whole practice thing, so, and you're not the only one on stage. Like, I'd have to think like improv would be a little bit easier than just stand up, because you can kind of fall back on the other members that you're going with. But maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe it's more of a personal thing I'm trying to make universal.
It's fascinating because I didn't expect that response, because like I said, I don't think I've heard that before, and I was trying to make a point, and it's totally defeated before the fact. But
well, I'm sorry for shitting on you.
It's fine. I got to go back to the drawing board, apparently. I've always known people to have some sort of like, again, my word choices suck, but like an ego element to going on stage. Like it's either just you, or if you're a singer or something, like, the pressure's on, and it takes some sort of ego to get up there, and then there's something else to kind of weigh in what the reaction and the response is. And I see. You fucked me up. I don't know what my point was now.
Well, I mean, I wasn't. We've had like in other bands that I was in, like we've had like lead singers who, it was kind of an ego thing, and you kind of need that in like a front man. I don't know if I was like traditionally the front man. We were kind of weirdos, and I screamed, so it got attention, but it wasn't like I don't know. I don't think I was the front man. Like, honestly, we would have the drummer set up at the front of the stage, and then I'd be kind of behind him. So
really,
it was kind of weird. Yeah, we did it a little bit different. People dug it, man. They wanted to see that drummer like just shred on his kit. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the best example for this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably should have let that in the oven, bake in the oven a little bit longer. But or known what the response was going to be.
I understand what you're saying, and I
do you
don't
because I don't
disagree. For like most people, I think it is kind of an ego thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what originally started it. I guess ego probably was a part of it, where it's like, yeah, I could perform in front of people. Like, people would want to see this. So there's a certain amount of ego. Yeah.
Yeah. And
but yeah,
I'm trying to think what the hell my point would have been. The ego
I literally just wasn't the front man. I'd be behind the drummer. So I don't know.
I didn't know you played with Lars. That's interesting.
Hey man, he can whatever he does.
I think I get what you tried to say. I think I get it. So I have personal experience similar to that. I used to be a rapper. And
no shit.
Yeah. I was rapping in French because my English is not good enough to have a Polish text. But I used to be a French rapper, and the first time I went on stage, that was in my early days of doing rap, and I was really bad. I'm conscious of me. Like, when I started, I was really terrible. I always add great text, great writing, but it's more like the flow and how to rap and how to,
Performance.
yeah, performance wise. I could have some emotions, but I was offbeat. That was calling that rap is is too gentle. It took me years to be on beat and to really realize how to be a rapper. And in my early days, I went on stage when I was still kind of bad, but that was partly ego wise because I thought I could do it. Because if other people do it, I can do it. But I was terrible back in these days. So I think I kind of get what you were trying to say.
I-
I think.
Being having the ego to do it, and not either know or think you have the talent enough to be up there, that you belong up there, is one thing, but taking the audience, or critical criticism, whatever, taking that in and being able to understand and respect it and then adapt to it, that's like, it's not entirely like main character syndrome, like a lot of performers seem to have labeled on them. I think the better ones seem. Yeah, I didn't prepare for this really well. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Never be. Never
No,
be sorry.
don't do
You
that.
are there. You are there. That's what matters. I'm someone that's really positive because I think it's important. And it's important because there's so much negativity, like when you find something good, you must point it out. Even if that may sound stupid, even if that may sound exaggeration, whatever, I don't care. You point it out. That's just my philosophy, like that's what I'm doing. I think it's important to do positive reinforcement. But yeah,
There's a limit.
this I disagree with. There's never a limit to be positive. There's a limit to be negative because sometimes you draw on other people with you, but like to
That's
hype
fair,
up to
but
hype up people, man.
positivity can be dangerous.
So have you
Oh
never
yeah.
heard of the tale of Icarus? Flying too close to the sun.
Mm.
Perhaps like a nice middle ground would be good.
Well, he died flashing his story, He was the main character of the story. He flew too close to the sun and he burned. I mean, if he didn't do it, we
Fair
wouldn't
enough.
talk about it today.
I mean, you could also frame it negatively. He suffered horribly and crashed hard. But
Well,
either
he's
way,
legendary. We remember him. Nobody will remember me. Nobody will say, "Oh, multi flew too close to the
hey, that
burn."
doesn't sound so positive. You've got your, YouTube history on here. People will remember.
The one viewer we got every week, he will remember this. I'm glad. But yeah, I lost track of my train of
It's
thought.
my fault. It's completely my fault.
No, no, you're there. You contribute a lot, and thank you for being there again. So how to break circles. So I was thinking a lot about another case, and uh, Gray and I talked a lot backstage like 2 weeks ago when we talked about male loneliness. So maybe we'll kind of realize which person I will start talking about right now without giving away too much details. But I know someone that is in a circle, and that someone is in a bad environment where it's very it's like prison, but it's not prison. And that someone doesn't see an exit, doesn't see an out of there. Therefore, that person doesn't behave to break out of that circle. And this is very sad to witness, like how to break out of circles. First of all, you must think that this is just a phase, this is just a circle you're stuck in, and you need to kind of think of leaving that circle, if you know what I mean. If I don't think you guys know what I mean, so I'll try to elaborate on that. So if you don't see yourself solving something, you will never solve it. That's basically what I was trying to say.
Well, that's contradictory to what I was saying, essentially.
Yeah.
If you don't go on.
Sorry for interrupting you. Please go on, Charles. I will
Please
join after.
adapt my thoughts to more cleaner
I was just going to say, maybe I'm always the contrarian, but I wanted to say, like, I've stumbled into solutions. I don't know. It's hard to get out of that, like, out of seeing, like, sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture, the forest instead of just the trees, like, especially when you're in it. You know, it oftentimes feels hopeless, especially with, like, you know, depression and everything. That's the main cycle, I guess, when I'm looking back at my life that I keep getting caught in. And I don't know, man. It just kind of it is a lot of negative thinking and a lot of ruminating on kind of your current situation. Where, yeah, if you did have the, you know, whatever you want to call it, foresight to just take a step back, it's like, yeah, in a couple months that everything's probably going to change. Everything isn't going to stay exactly the same. But I don't know, when it's like day after day, the same thing, and you're not seeing hope, it's hard to take that step back. At least for me, I know it's weird, but it kind of perpetuates itself, and then your world keeps getting smaller. At least for me, I know I kind of unplug from everybody and just kind of focus in on my own misery, if you will. Yeah, it's awesome to get out of that. It's just it's a lot easier to say, you know, realize this is temporary. When it's like when you're in it, I don't know, it feels endless. It doesn't feel like it's just some temporary thing.
I agree.
Yeah, that's some really deep thoughts, and it's true that it may be very
Kind of
hard.
negative. I don't know that they're deep, but yeah, it's just looking back. I think that's been kind of my thing. You know, it's like I don't see any hope. Like whatever, the next few days are going to be exactly the same. But I don't know. It really isn't. So much changes so fast. I don't know. I wish we could kind of take that step back, and I guess there's a lot of methods to kind of live in the moment so that you can kind of take the step back. You're not just focusing on, okay, this is just darkness. It's always going to be darkness. I don't know. That's what's really kind of helped me, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Perhaps I'm prone to that. I don't know that I'm the average mind, if you will. I guess I'm a downer.
How did you took that step back? I mean, what if you're stuck in that circle, what would make you think that, you know what, I need to step back? You know what would be
So
the
I've kind of
indicator?
tried everything. So I've tried like really everything that you can think of. I've tried to drown it out with anything that would either distract me or take my mind off it. So yeah, for a while I had a really unhealthy relationship with booze. I've definitely had a really unhealthy relationship with drugs. I've also nothing too hard. Mainly just I would smoke my days away. But yeah, on top of that, I also went to many therapists, and then I've been on every like antidepressant that is out there, or at least that was up until like 2010. So I don't know. And then they would start doing like combinations of them, and then a whole bunch of talk therapy. The thing that I really found that helped me was when I finally did CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It really just helped me to take a step back and realize these cognitive distortions that I keep kind of ruminating on, that, you know, I am making a mountain out of a molehill. I am aggrandizing. I am filtering, like, okay, so there's all these comments. Most of them are positive, but I'm filtering on that one negative one, and then I can't get off of that, or I make one mistake, I can't get past it. I remember having an entire session with my fucking therapist where I just talked about this bag of popcorn that I burned. I remember I had an office job, and it's like, okay, I'll put this in there, you know, 2 minutes. I can't remember if I got like a phone call or something, but I like walked away, came back in, and like the entire room is filled with smoke. Like I almost caught the entire place on fire, and it's like, I'm such an idiot. Like, what the hell? I can't even make popcorn. Like, I don't know. It was stupid, but it's like, it was more than just that. But it was like, I'm such a failure, I can't even do that. Yes, and that was my solution, actually. No, so I don't know. But it got so bad, like one of the therapists I was talking to suggested ECT to me, electroshock therapy. So like, just like, okay, you need to go in and just get your brain electrocuted because, you know, you're negative. So that kind of scared me away from like mental health for like a good decade. I just kind of ran away from that and didn't talk to anybody. So I just kind of dealt with it on my own, and that's when it got kind of unhealthy with like booze and smokes. Yeah, I don't know that I'm like the model of health, but what I've found now is with realizing that I'm doing a bunch of cognitive distortions, just the realization that I'm falling into that mindset helps me kind of realize and take a step back. And then the one thing that really fucking helped is exercise. To be honest, just like going outside and walking. Like I know they say touch grass, but there's something to that. And then once I started walking, it's like, okay, well, hell, I could, put some weights in a backpack and just walk. And then apparently that burns like 3 times the calories. So that was kind of cool. And then from there, it's like I finally felt like I was fit enough to start working out. So then it's heavy weights. And now I'm telling you, if I'm at all feeling like a bit down, it's like, okay, I need to just lift some heavy weights and I'm going to feel great. And I do. Like, it's shitty because it's a cycle. And it's like when you're feeling that down and you're feeling so hopeless, like lifting something heavy does not sound fun. But I don't know. The second I've done it, it's just like, oh God, this is like a huge weight off my back, so to speak. Okay, that sounded stupid. Lifting heavy weights is like a weight off of me. But it was a huge relief. And it like, I think oftentimes for me, it just, I'm able to get everything out in like one session of lifting. And it's like, okay, I feel great now. I actually feel like I did something. Like, I don't know if it tricks my mind into feeling like I did, like I accomplished something, but I don't know. There is something to doing something physical for me. I don't know if that's for everybody, but for the longest time, I tried to not do that. And I think that just perpetuated the cycle. Really, it helps me clear my mind. So that's my main thing. Just do something, like walk, if that's all you could do. Just walk.
It's universal. If someone tells you otherwise, that moving and doing exercise doesn't help, that person maybe have some brain issues, like not in the sense of stupid, but more like chemical wise, because when you do exercise, when you do move around and like run or even walk with weight the way you did, your body is like releasing, I think it's endorphins, but I'm not. Yeah, endorphins, and the sole fact that your brain released that means you will be feeling better by default. Except if there's a lack of some other chemical in your brain, then it's kind of sad. You will need some kind of medication and such. But usually, doing exercise should help everyone. Is it the
in
only
my
thing?
darkest depression, it was the combo of the SSRIs plus the exercise. So it was endorphins and serotonin, I guess. But
Prozac?
yeah, it really helped. Lexapro and Wellbutrin was the last one that I was on, the last combo. But definitely done Prozac many times. Definitely done Wellbutrin. Like everyone I've had in like every combination, a bunch of weird shit. But yeah, I don't know. I got to be honest. Like the endorphins were like the main thing. Like I don't know. I had no motivation, no energy, so I didn't want to do it. But damn, if that wasn't what made me feel the best. So I don't know. I'm a big proponent in that, but yeah, try and tell someone who's super depressed, like, hey, just go for a walk. Like it's kind of hard.
I think
nobody wants to do that.
Sorry, I think the further you are in depression, the circles that you have. You seem to get more and more reserved. You're doing a circle, but it's much smaller, and your cycle certainly gets reduced, and it's strictly. I mean, I was bad. I had agoraphobia, although they call it mild agoraphobia, and when I was at my worst, I would.
Oh, that's lovely.
Just a mild case of agoraphobia.
Yeah, it's a cute.
Not that cute. You cannot be in a room with too many people. That's
no,
sad.
It was. I couldn't be in. I had to lock the door to a room that I know nobody was coming into. Like I could speak about it now and say, "Fuck, that was weird." But if you've watched The Aviator or you've heard about like Howard Hughes, with the exception of number 2, I was doing all that stuff. There were jars. It was really, really bleak, and I can't explain why, but there was something about comfort and anxiety, and not leaving the room was I don't know. It was bad. It was bad, and again, I have no explanation for it. But I couldn't leave. It was really, really strange. It's strange what your mind does to your body.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
trapped
And
in your
that's
own
why I
mind.
get that whole like prison-like thing.
Mm.
I know I'm putting it towards me, but yeah, I definitely was trapped in like a mind prison as well, and like anxiety, and just getting outside, just moving in front of people was like the hardest thing to do.
Right.
So I don't know. I completely get that. Was there something that kind of changed it for you, or helped you kind of break that cycle?
I went to Denmark, and slowly but surely, I just needed a support system, is what it turned out to be. And slowly but surely, I was leaving rooms. It took a while. It took, I was there for 10 months on and off. But over the course of time, I was leaving the room, taking walks. Like, this was something that taking a walk was just out of the question when I left for there. So yeah, I had issues with somebody I was with. I needed a support system for emotional purposes, and the exact opposite happened, and like it totally shut down everything. And I needed to experience that people actually, I don't know, give a shit and aren't trying to come and attack you or steal you or whatever. I don't have an explanation or of how it started, how it ended, but I do know my trip to Denmark certainly helped.
Well, you were able to break out of it, I think, because now you're there.
I have moments where it gets bad again.
Okay. Well, at least now you feel comfortable enough to share it. So that's maybe already in the process of maybe getting solved eventually.
I just need to stay here in England, that's all. It's a medical emergency that I stay.
Okay.
That would be kind of awesome.
I know.
So Gray Way was to do sports or exercise more, and yours was going to Denmark, I think, maybe.
Well, walking, exercise was still the same thing.
Well, it's something universal.
And I'm not telling everyone to like get a dog, but the fact that I literally had a life depending on me and I had to take him outside twice a day, that like made me so I can't just say, no, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to say like a dog is going to fix your mental health. It's not. Like it's a ton of trouble, but I liked having that constant companionship of a best friend, if you will. And then having to actually take him outside twice a day, that helped me. But I don't know, I went through years of not doing anything like that, so I don't know, it's definitely tough. I don't know exactly what made me do that, but
they have a fascinating way of understanding that their best friend is not feeling great, and they really know how to.
For sure.
I don't know. There's something in their system that knows how to make people feel slightly better. Not cats. Those guys are jerks.
I think the thing with one of the factor maybe for the dogs is they smell you like their nose is so much more advanced than ours. It's crazy that they cannot realize when you're sweating and such, and sometimes they realize it before you do because of their nose. Their senses are really, really sharp. And even their hearing, I can assume, is maybe not as sharp as their nose, but I can bet if we really search that, their hearing will be good, because sometimes
dog whistle frequency way higher than we can hear.
Yeah. Like
some of us hear them apparently.
Sometimes sometimes they just stop yapping around. You're like, what's going on? I did nothing, but they actually aired or they smelled something. And they're like, there's something that bothers me, and you don't notice it because you don't have the same sense as them. So I think that's like,
I'm not saying that like taking another life into your life is necessarily going to fix your problems.
Yeah, responsibility.
Like, I don't put that
sometimes
forward or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, like responsibility totally can, but I'm not saying, like, hey, your relationship sucks, have a kid. I'm not saying, you're depressed, just get an animal. Like, it's still gonna be a lot of work, but I don't know. That seemed to be what helped me because it was the responsibility and like this life is depending on me. Have to take him out twice a day, so it at least made me walk a shitload.
Yeah.
I think that was the main thing that got me out of my last depression.
It's funny, your hypothetical literally is where I realized that I was in trouble because the person I was with was like, "Are you sure you want to have kids?" And I'm like, "No. And they wanted the fix our relationship with a child cure, and I was like, "Yeah, no, this isn't."
Yeah, what if it doesn't work? You've just screwed up another life.
At least 18, yeah. Like they weren't paying attention to anything that I was telling them. Like, hey, 100% of my gene pool is just mentally screwed from both sides of my family, and I'm telling you, I'm nervous about whatever I can pass on to somebody else. But let's have a kid. It'll only be 50% screwed up.
I like the odds.
Flip a coin, baby.
The way to do it. A half-broken kid.
Half. I'd like a 75% or at least.
So yeah, I think we covered in depth how to break circles, I guess. Even if it's still a very long process sometimes.
I think I did more harm than good being here.
No,
Okay.
I think you brought an awesome perspective, sir. I don't know if I would have quite gone the route that I went with it, but yeah, I think that's the biggest cycle that I've kind of broken, and sadly it keeps coming up. But I kind of know if I just do something physical, I'm not going to feel that same way. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's normal or not.
It takes some sort of outward perception of what's going on before realizing, wait, something's wrong, and I'm not going to be able to fix this myself. Sometimes you can. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You have more power than
I
you
don't
may
know if
think.
I ever have.
In a lot of cases, people do have a lot of powers than they may think. Just saying, very positive. I'm the guy that tries to be positive all the time.
Well, I mean, I joked about it earlier, but hypocrisy is like one of the things that I just really can't stand. And if I start doing it, I either joke about it or like really kind of sit down and think, all right, how do I fix this? The very somewhat public situation that I separated myself from a circle, I know that my thought process was, wait, we started doing things to be not column A. I want to be column B, but suddenly we're doing column A things, and it's not what I signed up for. And yeah, that went smooth. But at least I recognized that this isn't what we were supposed to do, and being able to recognize that and not get deeper into that muck was. I feel better now.
That's already a great start. Feeling better now. It's when you know that maybe you're in the right path, because otherwise you wouldn't be feeling better. You would be feeling the same, I think.
And it's go ahead, Gray.
Sorry, please go right ahead.
No.
No, you were making a great point.
I was just going to say that it, ironically, feeling better now has a lot to do with getting into conversations with people that have a different opinion and hearing, the opposite of an echo chamber, and like there's still respect, which is just awesome, like really awesome. And I can improve myself if I know what the other end of the coin is.
I like your approach, man. And this is why I hate echo chamber.
Yeah. And I owe you a huge thing, man.
I owe you. If you didn't cover me, we wouldn't.
I know we helped each other out because, sadly, me and Patrick didn't realize that we were going in a cycle ourselves. And we wanted to call out a certain group for, kind of being hypocrites. And it's like, wait a minute, we're doing the exact same thing. And it took you kind of talking to us to be like, what the hell? Like, we literally became what we had. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just, listening to an outside voice to actually realize that you're in like a cycle, a circle, whatever.
Right.
Because
And
I don't think either of us really saw it, but we kept telling each other like, okay, so this is the last response we'll do. Okay, they made a response about us. Let's do one more. Okay, let's do this one last one. And yeah, it was a cycle. We just didn't realize that we were doing like the junkie thing, and we kept getting the hit from making our response and then getting a new response. It's like, well, clearly we got to respond to this. Like, we can't just let them have the last word. But yeah, I owe you a huge thanks for kind of letting me see the big picture, because when you're in it, sometimes you don't see it. And even though we were having discussions of, okay, so let's cover something else, and that was what we started out that show as, let's do these things. And that's why like the first episode wasn't about those guys at all, but yeah, suddenly it became a cycle and it came full circle. We were what we were criticizing. So I don't know. Just that step back can really help.
And not in regards to you, but myself. I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. This is ridiculous. And I'll take that happy middle. I really think we both helped each other, because it was the common ground, the thing that Patrick was talking about, the find three, like
Patrick's
that, like
the man.
It clicked something in my head. I was like, oh my God, I'm familiar with this. I think we can find a bridge to something. And a lot of people didn't agree with me, but that's why I'm here now. Not a lot. 3, 4.
Well, there were some diehards in the audience too, I'm sure. But yeah, fair.
But you see, guys also broke different circles there.
Yeah. And made a new one.
Yeah. I think the new one is far better.
I agree.
Yeah. Anything else guys would like to add before we move to the video part, where we finish to cover the very, very long video we started last week?
Oh.
You forgot about that one.
I guess dealer's choice. Yeah, I kind of did forget about that one. But yeah, I guess we did only make it like halfway through that thing. Yeah, dealer's choice. But yeah, I think we're good on this. I honestly didn't think I'd have that much to say on circles or cycles. So thanks for bringing up that topic, Multi. That was one of the multi-topics you brought to the table. I enjoyed that.
Hell yeah, that was a perfect follow-up to what we did last week. And next week would be interesting. Violence in media. Anyhow, so as a quick recap, that was a video about a perspective on female loneliness and how people are wrong to think that women have it easier. I think that's a really good way to kind of recap the first 25-ish minutes.
Yeah. So I kind of forgot. So this started on a Reddit post of a woman who says that she's above average attractiveness, but she's had trouble with relationships and everything, and she feels really lonely. And then she feels like she's also getting shit because nobody thinks that an attractive lady should be lonely. So yeah, I am kind of interested. I think he just kind of laid out essentially what she's saying now, but he hasn't gotten to any sort of solutions or any answers to that. So I would be interested if he kind of has suggestions for her, because it does seem like kind of a shitty place to be in, where it's like, I'm suffering. It's like, you shouldn't be. That just sucks,
And it's also interesting because he divided this video in many parts. And one of the parts is called How to Break Circles. So I cheated. I saw that part because I was like...
I gave you credit for this topic, but it was actually...
that was in the video.
Healthy gamer GG.
But I will be honest, I haven't seen the full video, actually. So maybe he will say something similar or different. I have no clue. I don't know. So I did watch the video up to like the 20-ish minutes. So like last week we covered 5 minutes. I had no clue what was going on, but it's the same thing now. I have no idea what it will say, but
we're
all
all going in blind, but we're excited to hear how to break the cycle. Let's do this.
Yeah.
When you shared your suffering, how did someone else respond to you? And that's what I really commend about this person, because this person is saying, this is my experience. And what I'm really proud of is that this is a community where we have heard this person. And we've said, we hear you. It sounds tough. And by the way, this is me. I didn't know that attractive women could feel this way.
Did you know that? Did you know
Oh
that
yeah,
some
it's a human
attractive
emotion, man. Like, why would an attractive person not be able to feel a certain emotion? Like, come on, we all feel loneliness.
I will be honest. I thought for a long time before seeing that Reddit post and that video. I thought for a long time that if you're an attractive woman, there's no way you can know like loneliness and such. Because I feel like people just gravitate towards beauty.
I
So I
think
was
so,
wrong.
but that doesn't mean that they are looking for like an actual relationship or anything like that. Like, it could be a completely different type of loneliness. It's like, yeah, people want to sit next to me. Like, you're not some hideous chud, so they're like looking to like not sit next to you. But are they really interested in your opinion or anything, or is it just okay? Like, sit next to me. Okay, I'm going to take a picture next to you. Look, I'm next to this attractive person. I don't know. I think that would be a weird loneliness I've never experienced, but yeah, it seems like that would still be lonely if everything is just surface level relationship, or
Yeah,
knowing that everyone just wants to sleep with you and that's it.
yeah, and that was the sense I was getting from that Reddit post. And again, I added to that Reddit post that if this is what you're getting, do you really try to offer the person, you know what, I got more than my looks. Like, did you really show that person that you had more than your looks? That was what I kind of said in that Reddit post. But again, I don't know the detail of the person, but
I
sometimes some people.
completely forgot the weird part of her post too, where she has a bunch of like figurines that she has given personalities to and are kind of like her friends. And then apparently she has like a 12-year relationship with an animated character.
15.
I don't think oh, sorry.
15.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. So that's the part that seems super unhealthy to me, but I'd be interested to hear about that. But I totally forgot about that. We should probably set that up, since I'm sure that's going to come up in his how to break those cycles at some point.
Yeah.
Right? Which is awesome. That's where AoE healing comes from. So I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again. You're welcome here. Now, last thing to talk about. So one thing is we talked about the cycle, right?
Do you guys think that being part of a community would be enough to break that loneliness?
No.
No?
Yeah, I'd say no. Like, I was in bands, so like I was meeting up with like a group of friends like multiple times a week, and then I had a job. I was still depressed as hell. I was still lonely as hell. I don't know. I don't think it's enough. I don't know. I think everyone's looking for more than just community, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm painting everyone with my brush or whatever.
I
No, I
like
agree.
what you brought. I also agree with that. Yeah. I guess we can play now.
I mean, sorry.
Next thing to talk
No,
Did you-
please go. Just go.
Okay.
about is what do you do if you're kind of in this situation? So generally speaking, when I encounter situations like this, we do see this cycle of being judged because of the way that you look. Your identity starts to form, kind of like it almost gets split off, where this is like the real me and this is the way that the world treats me.
A suggestion we could tell the person is maybe stop wearing makeup and see people's reaction. Or if, I don't know.
So makeup is the cause of her problems?
Not necessarily, but do you get the idea I'm trying to get? Like,
Yeah,
try to
like,
look less.
don't
less
necessarily make
girly, I don't
yourself
know.
as attractive as you can be if you're not happy with people only looking at you for your looks. I get what you're getting at. I'm just not sure if the naturally gifted would be able to kind of turn that off. I mean, that's shitty. Like, just cover yourself up. Everything's
Yeah.
fine. I think at some point you still have to kind of come to terms with it. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of it's a self-esteem and self-worth thing, which I don't know if I have any advice for that, because I've been struggling with that kind of my whole life. So I don't know. But it doesn't sound like she thinks she has a lot to offer other than that.
Yeah, and it's very sad because I think a lot of people may feel the same way. Charles, do you want to add something on that?
No, what Gray said is, I mean, I don't know, to pick a different angle from this, it almost sounds like typical stereotypical, incel talk, usually they'll talk about looks, and that is the chief concern. And if you're looking exclusively for somebody that is attractive and like that's it, that's really, really shallow to think of people as whatever they look like. That there's so many different things that people are really fantastic with. Love them on the inside, not the outside. It just, if you're more than being attractive, which that's fascinating to think of yourself as I'm puzzled by this entire situation, but you should work on the rest of you and prove that you're that much more a catch. If you're attractive, all you're getting judged on is your looks. But if you were like a really good person, or a good friend
Confident
or companion,
in something.
right,
Yeah.
right, and, prove that like I'm not just a fuck buddy. Like I don't know. It just sounds like typical incel stuff. Because all they do is judge people by their looks, and their standards are so ridiculous for people that are complaining about not having sex. It's fascinating.
I think there is kind of a name for that too. I've heard like femcel thrown around.
Femcel.
It seems like it would be under the same type of. Like I don't disagree with you.
and it's fascinating because each time someone bring up physique and looks, I always think back at something. Your external beauty and stuff like that, as you grow older, it get tainted. You lose it. But your internal
diminishing asset.
Your
like
internal beauty, as long as you work on yourself and as long as you try to improve yourself, it can only go higher and can always be better and more beautiful as you go older, because instead of like being 20 years old and have worked on yourself for 10 years, you're like 40 years old and worked on yourself for 30 years, if you know what I mean. So if your emphasis is at the right place, which is the inside, whatever of the age will only be better, I think, as you go older. And it's very different than just the outside look and such. Let's be honest, as we go older, we have gray hair. Men lose their hair. Women, they it's harder for them to be in shape and such, because maybe they had kids, and because of that, well, their stomach, and such. So as you go older, you're less beautiful on the outside, and some people must accept it. And this is why also I despise so much all of these magic creams to pretend that you didn't age, but babe, you do age. I mean, it's something natural to age.
For now.
For now. Just very sad to see.
Do we know the age of this woman?
29 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think she's in her late 20s, but if he remembers 29, that sounds right to me.
Yeah, she said she was 29, and it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're attractive and you're swatting people off, based on that, I would be curious to know if they tried friend zoning some of their friends.
It doesn't sound like it, because she was saying she never really had friends. She had like 2 close friends now. Yeah.
She has like 3 friends.
There's a bunch about this that just confuses me.
Agreed. And then the fact that it's on Reddit, I want to believe it's real, but yeah, there is a bit of missing connections there. Like it seems like there is more to this story, and you would think by 29 they would have possibly tried to work on themselves or improve some of that, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe she's 19. I don't know.
So she's been talking to her doll since she was 4?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think 29 is a little bit more
Yeah.
accurate. Like I could see a teen having a relationship with a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like there's some conflicting things about it that just really don't add up. Like, oh, I keep getting told that I'm attractive, but I don't have friends. So who's telling you that then? Like, what is happening?
I like your worry. Like I like how you ask question. It's amazing. You're laughing, but I really believe it. You see, when I don't believe something, I shut up and I just move on. Everything I say, I believe it.
Wait, so that's
Not-
why every time I talk, you just like automatically play? You just go on after? Okay. Wow.
I'm sorry, Gray. I'm sorry.
And now you apologize, confirming it. Wow, Multi.
This is where you deny it. Deny it, Multi.
Are we playing it now?
All right.
Moving on.
I tried, Gray.
And the more that I get judged about the way that I look, the more isolated I feel and the less good of a person I kind of become in my own head.
It's because she spin that narrative all the time, I think. But again, I don't know the person. Maybe there's more to it, but that's the feeling I'm getting from. Any thoughts on that, Gray or Charles? Okay.
I don't know if that sort of makes sense. But so, for example, like let's say I get promoted and people make comments, and how many comments does it take to ruin your day? Right? So like if you have a birthday party and 10 people bring gifts and one of them is a pile of feces, that's going to ruin your day, even if the other 9 gifts were really great. If 10 people there, if 9 people are like, hey, you're a really awesome person, we really love having you in our life, and one person is like, here's a pile of feces, you're a waste of space, I hope you cease to exist.
Is he using the synopsis of I don't think he's actually watched Smile because it was a dead cat, not feces.
Yeah. Interesting film. But that it seems like, he might have a more relatable thing. Like if you were talking about like, on your Facebook page, you get like a whole bunch of people wishing you a happy birthday. And then one person is like, I hope you don't have a good day. I hope it goes the worst way it possibly could. And maybe that would be a little bit more relatable. That one's going to stick out to you. Like, why the hell did somebody take the time to send me that?
It's like the old saying, it's the thought that counts. At least they remembered you on your birthday.
I'm not kidding.
That's how I see it and view it. They thought of me.
I was like 14 when my mom remarried, and the only time that they could get the like whatever officiant that they wanted, it was like the day before my birthday. So I remember asking them asking her like, well, why did you have to do it on the day before my birthday? You guys are then having your honeymoon or whatever. She was like, well, put it this way. Look at it this way. You'll never forget our anniversary. Oh. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good times. It kind of brought me back to my childhood there. You're right. Like certain comments kind of stick out with you. So, but hey, I think about them, I guess.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That comment, I like it so much, bro. So I guess now we can play, except you guys would like to add more.
No, I think we're good.
That's the fundamental problem with the world, which is that it's so much easier to hurt than it is to help.
Fact. I agree.
And so the challenge here is that as we develop and as we start getting treated a particular way because of our identity, we start to realize, oh, like here's my worth as a human being. Here's all the successes and failures I have. But if I'm pretty and more people attribute it to my attractiveness, then my actual sense of self kind of like falls and goes in the other direction. Does that kind of make sense? Because the more that people start to talk about my achievements being due to my attractiveness or due to my wealth or due to my advantages, the more I start to feel bad about myself.
The more you give fuel to the circle, I think.
Yeah.
Does that
I
make
mean,
sense?
Yeah, and a lot of what Miss Sparkles was bringing up last week, like that makes sense. I mean, like it sounds like she's an attractive female, but she's felt much of what's going on in this same kind of situation, and it's like, yeah, that sucks. I guess people would kind of assume, no, people would like to sit next to you, like the second they see you, they're like, oh, don't sit next to me, like, I don't know. I feel like that I'm a rather large guy. No matter what, like if I'm walking down any aisle on like a bus or a plane, I see people like kind of averting their eyes and stuff. I don't think they necessarily do that for an attractive woman. I think they would be like, I hope she sits next to me, as opposed to don't choose this seat. So I don't know. There little things like that. I would think that they have easier, but goddamn, that would be another type of loneliness. To everything's just superficial. It's only your beauty. Like anything you ever do, it's only because of your beauty. That would suck.
It would, indeed. And I think this is when if you realize that, this is when you should maybe either think of trying to make new connection with other people that don't necessarily are superficial, or maybe start giving you more credits that are not related to your physique. Maybe start believing that maybe you have more to offer than just your physique. I think that's a really good place to start off with. Any thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
I have something for you to judge
Yeah.
and find the positivity in it.
Okay.
It can wait.
Right now. You just opened the floodgate right now. We need to see it. What's going on?
No, I don't want. I don't want to break anything up anymore.
You don't break anything up. Okay, you're part of the show.
Well, I'm just curious to see how you'd find. I mean, it's a fellow Canadian. I'm curious to see how you would find a positive outlook. And plus, it's a music video, so Gray, you can give your expertise on it too.
Ooh, Canadian music video. Are we watching Rush? What's going on here?
No, it's easy. It's easy to find positivity there, and it's not loading. That's another reason why I need you to delay. Do you want the? I can give you. Here you go.
Hey, Miss Sparkles. Welcome.
Oh wait, do I do it here? I can do it here, right? No.
I think so.
Video file?
I think so. I think you can do it through Present and then share screen. Maybe. It depends on if you have it downloaded or not.
Yeah, I'm absolutely.
If it's on YouTube, just you can simply click the screen share. Oh yeah.
Oh, I think he's got it up there. Noise. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to watch movies. I'm going through withdrawals. I can't go to the cinemas because I'm stuck at home, quarantined. I look around the city, cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. Oh, I can't see clearly. I'm blinded by the movies. No, I can't.
Wow.
No, I can't see.
I gotta say,
Go ahead, be positive.
okay.
You're in love? You really feel that
Am I
home
crazy
country
to
pride?
think? Am I crazy to think he's offbeat?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
It sounded like it was perfect. It
I
is
was like,
exactly
maybe it's just my
how
bad
it should
earring
be.
coming back, or it's okay.
No, I think it is incredibly unique, and anybody else who tried to do this cover would not come up with the same result.
Hell yeah.
Just wow.
Blind and able to work a TV remote and looking at Blu-rays while blind.
His sense of touch
does a
is
blind person
amazing.
need?
His sense of
Does a
touch
blind
is
person
amazing.
need
I
an
mean,
eye mask?
He knows where to click.
Perhaps the buttons are in Braille. Who knows? But I don't know if the DVDs are. Is the one thing. Like, does he just?
Let's just finish it out of free space.
I
Maybe
mean,
can
my
find more
point
fun
is proven.
things.
You can. The point is already.
The man. What a lyricist.
I can't see clearly.
Well, he's realistic. That's one thing. So that's a
What
good
is
thing.
realistic
And, you
about
know,
this?
And his shots are very utilitarian. He's getting everything he needs without camera movement. You know, very good.
The theme song to your nightmares, Sparkles.
And
it's
it's
Canada's
scripted.
new
It's-
national anthem they're testing out.
It's unique. Grace said it. It's unique. So it's a
Yeah,
good
no.
thing.
The incredibly accidental thing about this is if somebody wanted to do like a cringe thing, they couldn't come up with this. It's fascinating.
No, it has this weird authenticity about it. It doesn't feel like it's somebody trying to make it this bad. Like,
It's
I
by
think you'd make
accident.
weird mistakes.
But he's unique. We gotta
Um,
admit it. We gotta give him this. Like he broke some new. He broke every rule he could. So he's a gangster. You know.
So he's punk rock, is what you're saying?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's new
He
punk.
creates a new punk. Yeah.
Canadian punk.
Name right.
I'm blinded by the movies. No, I can't. No, I can't see. I'm eating popcorn. I've been trying to cut.
The camera is well lit. You know, like you clearly
The
see
camera
I
just
mean-
receives lit.
Like
He's
clearly
got a
see
sense of decor
the
if you look
button.
behind him.
Yeah. Well,
For a
You're
blind
right.
He's got
person,
that,
that's
like,
quite a
90s grandma
incredible
chic.
feat.
we see the nice butter in the popcorn.
I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to watch movies. I'm going through withdrawals.
How do you know where the TV is?
Another positive thing
By
to
sound,
say.
you know,
He can eat all.
echolocation.
He can eat all of the crap he can and he wants without feeling guilty about looking back at how fat he can become.
That's quite evident
I
if you
think
ask
you'd
me.
still feel it.
Yeah, but he
but, I
doesn't
mean, he's
see
got- he's
it,
got-
so that's a good thing. Like,
He's got taste in pillows. He knows how to match a pillow to a vase.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Can't go to.
So
I
you
mean-
see, Charles, we can always find positive things to say.
Considering he's blind, it's quite a feat. That's like tenfold more impressive that somebody could match things while not being able to see what it is they're matching. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Now, only if he could take a page out of Stevie Wonder's book and sing.
Maybe it comes in time. I don't know.
Movies. Didn't know you could break that word up, but
The cinemas because I'm stuck at home, quarantined. I'm blindfolded like Anastasia Steele from 50 Shades of Grey. I'm running out of time.
Hey, it's Gray was on beat. That's the first thing you said on beat.
It's hard to be offbeat with Gray. What can I say?
Was able to play one thing on beat, you know? Always positive.
There you go. Improvement.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. I mean, if I was going to reference a movie for any purpose, it would probably be that. Grey.
Most likely, yeah. That's such a pillar of cinema, you know? That's like
Well,
Peak
if you're gonna go
entertainment.
like blindfolded scenes, there's
Oh.
a few.
Daredevil
always go, like, Star Wars.
2002.
It's
or
a
4.
literal. I got it. Okay. All right. So there's no subtext. It's just literal blindfold
Yeah.
movie
He seems
blindfold.
familiar with the subject. He knew her name was Anastasia or whatever. You know,
A plus for
They say
creativity.
write what you know.
I need to shove popcorn in my mouth
That's not your
because
mouth.
I can't see
There it is.
Mouth.
the movie. I'm blindfolded, so I'm eating popcorn out of my mind.
No take twos for me.
Wait, not blind? Liar.
Liar.
Wait, so where did the bruises come from? And why is he bleeding from the mouth?
It's from all the popcorn kernels he was shoving into his head.
Oh, he couldn't tell the difference between kernel and corn. I gotcha.
And accidentally, he probably ate some glass, and that's what caused the bleeding. And
So you see, Charles, we can always see the bright side.
so that's a 10 out of 10 for you?
I think there's
Judge
a
me.
little room for improvement.
For creativity, it's a 10.
Creativity? Okay.
It's a 10. Hell yeah.
You like the way he moved the camera.
Hell yeah.
It's well lit.
Yeah.
Shooting it in the
Can see the-
daytime, 10 out of 10.
Some might say overlit, but either way.
We can see the butter in the popcorn, you know? That's attention to details.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like he might have sprung for the Redenbacher. I don't know.
The set
you know, good
design,
on
he had to
him.
make sure that there was enough yellow kernels in there.
And enough pillow. Enough pillow.
Yeah, he did seem amply pillowed.
And the music itself?
You know, I thought it
Let's
was
just
a pretty
change-
good take on that song.
He was able to
I
place
didn't
Gray
have
on
that.
time.
It's
He was
true.
able to-
Gray is always
And-
on time.
And like Gray said, you nail it in one take because, you know, there's no way he's going to screw that up at all, ever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right.
And
so you can find
Nobody
positivity in
else,
everything.
nobody else can copy what he did. Try to do a
Oh,
cover
on
of that.
purpose? No. I think that's the fascinating thing about this. Like, I don't think he has a genuine understanding of what it is he's doing. And I didn't even think about the blindfold bit until you brought it to my attention that, oh, blindfold in that movie. I really I really think it's a literal comparison, and that's fascinating.
I don't know if there are layers to it, but there's at least one. You know,
You see, Charles, you have learned that everything can be turned into golden.
Okay. Yep. I stand corrected. Massive apologies. Canada's own, baby.
Hell yeah.
And the more I start to feel bad about myself, the more that I compensate in different kinds of ways. Like I develop a strong ego or narcissistic defense mechanisms. And y'all can even see that like in the mass media with public figures, right? There are some people out there who, when they accomplish things, no one says, hey, good job. That's actually pretty impressive. Whatever.
And this is why I do that a lot. So I break that narrative. Praise people when you can praise them. Any thoughts on what he said?
I was raised with a different notion. You know, yell at somebody when you can yell at them. Don't know what's more effective.
I think they are both effective, but on different areas of aspect. But yeah, I get it. I see that. Any thoughts to add outside of that, Charles or Gray?
Oh no.
No.
My everything hurts.
everyone says is, oh, you just got there because you were born with advantages. And then we'll also potentially even see the egotistical responses. And then it just becomes a cycle. Right? Because the thought of compassion towards that person is mind-blowing. Like, what? So what do you do if you're kind of in this situation where you've been taught or you've learned this lesson that your worth is based on your attractiveness? So I know it's going to sound kind of hard, but what you should do is find out who you are. So who you are is not determined by how you're treated.
How do you think you can determine who you are?
But not by how you're treated like that.
I gotta be honest, I've never felt lucky, but I guess I am lucky that I've never had to think like, hey, maybe I just got this because they're attracted to me. Like, I don't know. That thought has never crossed my mind. That would suck if you had to constantly second guess everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Gray, for taking my mind pudding and put it to words.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's play now. I had something to say, but I lost what I wanted to say.
See, it's contagious. I apologize.
Derailment.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's why we call one how you're treated.
Oh, I think it came back. I think a good way to no, it left my mind. Dang. Failure. At least I made Charles laugh, so that's
I
amazing.
empathize. I completely empathize.
Oh, I
If it
chuckled
comes back-
really loud. I was muted. You couldn't hear it. My birds really enjoyed it.
So that's a good thing.
Right? How people relate to you. It's a treatment. It's not who you are. The problem is that we tend to conflate the two. And for people who are more egotistical, whose ahamkaras are stronger, what we tend to find is that who they are is how they are treated. So in psychiatry, this is like when we look at narcissism. So if people treat me with respect, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
What's a home car?
Omgar. To be honest, I have no idea.
He said people with whom car? Humdinger? On guard?
On guard. I think that's what he said, on guard. But I missed that part as
He
well.
challenged me to a duel?
But I think it's also how you treat others that can reflect who you are, I think. Because if you treat others with respect, then you're a respectful person. But again, it's not everyone that may know that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, to give it out is respectful, but you would hope that it would be given in return.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually a good point there.
To be given respect doesn't mean you're getting it.
Yeah, true. Anything else to add?
I want to know what on guard is. I
Me
want to know if
neither.
I have on guard.
But if people treat me with disrespect, I'm a horrible human being. And so how do I protect myself in that situation? I have to force people to treat me with respect because I can't tolerate when they don't. Because if they don't treat me with respect, then my sense of identity is determined by how I'm treated. And
Would you say the same? Would you think the same, Charles? Do you think you're all you feel about yourself is caused by others?
At my core, probably, but I don't know. Lots of experience has kind of shown me otherwise.
You see, you have good experience because that's
Well, it goes back to me saying that you can't find good and constantly be I don't know. Sometimes there's harm in being too nice to people because sometimes people need to hear that didn't work for me, and here's the reason why. Because if people just keep putting things out into the world and don't think that there's any issues with it, they're going to make blinded by movies, music videos, and nobody's going to tell them, hey, this didn't work for me, dog.
I think I see your point now that you tried to prove earlier. I think I understand it better now. But here's what I got to say is constructive things are important.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean you cannot be overly positive. But again, I get what you're saying. Like, I think you can do both. I think.
My second performance ever, I walked a fair amount of the room, And the third performance ever was a standing ovation. Which one do you think I hold in more higher regard?
Well, obviously you focus on the positive. Yeah, no, no, those aren't the ones that stick with you. Yeah. But if you intentionally walked them, that might stick with you. Some people do that.
Yeah, I'm not Kaufman-esque. But I learned from the second one. I'm not going to be that arrogant and say I figured it out by the third one, but there's more to learn from
failure than
right.
success.
Right.
I get that thing. Yeah, you're actually right on that.
Thank you. See, you're being too nice about me being right.
No, not really, because I can reflect and relate to that. So a lot of people around me were overly positive toward me, and they didn't help as much as other people that were more constructive and harsh on me, but with good intent. And I was able to improve my rap and my flow and my interpretation, my how I would place my lines and how I would follow the beat better. So I kind of see what you tried to tell earlier that I didn't fully grasp on earlier, but yeah, I still strongly believe you can still try to be very positive, but I think being constructive is also very important. Being constructive and being able to say, you know what, something doesn't work, and I think that's also a fair shot as long as he can have a balance, you know.
You guys also said it too. I don't think anybody who would try to make that video could do it on purpose. It's like an unironic Andy Kaufman type thing. Whether or not, you know, they're in on the joke, they're doing something that's entertaining to a certain degree for the wrong reasons.
That's actually a good point you made there.
Well, it's like Tommy Wiseau in The Room. He still sells out theaters. Movie's 21 years old now, and he's still making money off that thing that, I don't know, there's a fair amount of people that would love to have that type of response, financially at least.
It's like a lot of Snyder's movies, you know, like they don't really improve because like he only grasp the people. Oh, we like your slow-mo shots. So he keeps giving them slow-mo shots. So I think when you only see the bright side, maybe if you're doing art or something, that may harm you, maybe.
Right.
So Gray, do you think others define who you are?
I think they'll try to, but it's up to you if you accept their definition or defining of yourself. I think it is up to each of us, but some of us do accept what we're labeled, I guess. Hopefully you can fight against that and define yourself.
I like your response a lot, and I agree with it 100%. I think we can play now.
And you'll see this, which is why like people always have to be the center of attention. They can't tolerate criticism, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to find out who you are.
So I'm not quite sure. Is his answer to break out of the circle is to find out who you are? Or did he just pretended to have an idea and he didn't finish the idea?
No, he completely finished it. I think you're just pausing a lot, so you're not like completely following his idea. But it was basically, find something that you are and define it, so that you're not just allowing people to define anything that you do by just your looks. And that does wear on somebody when they keep getting equated back to that, and then suddenly you will start falling into that trap of seeing yourself just as that, which would suck. But I think he was saying kind of the same thing that we were trying to say, which is, find a way to define yourself. But perhaps I'm giving him too much credit, but that was what I got out of those.
What did you got out of those, Charles?
What? I'm sorry?
What did you got of that segment we just finished in this video, which was breaking circles? do you feel like you had a proper answer on how to break circles based on what he said?
Sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, that's interesting. So Dre does think and Charles doesn't, and I'm in between.
No, I'm in between. That's not fair.
So we are both in between. Okay.
I got the memory of a goldfish. That's not fair.
You were the one who said that he didn't say anything, Multi. I think you're not remembering. Charles said he's not sure, and you seemed very sure that he had no point.
You're right, Dre.
Projection.
You're right, Dre. You're right, Charles.
I'm okay.
I can projection because I kind of repeat what you said, Dre. That's why I thought I was in between. But
Well,
yeah,
you admitted it, so we're all good.
Who is that? Courtney Ryan? See, this is the problem. I was trying to figure out. Women would rather be single and alone forever than settle. And I'm trying to find that video because
Courtney Ryan.
it's the fourth one from the bottom to the right.
Oh yeah.
So I've been trying to find that video because I love it when conventionally attractive people start telling the world what should be happening.
Well, don't settle.
And you know, she was also hilarious. I'll send you her channel, but I think she has some very
I'm
weird takes.
6 things that actually make you more confident. This changed my life. Okay, your life. 4 things that will destroy a woman's attraction to you. Lack of income. The 8 sexiest things men wear, according to women. Aren't you a woman? Wouldn't you be able to? Things women find attractive that men have no idea about. Bank account. If she's not interested, she'll do these 5 things. Every guy needs to know this. This is why so many people are chronically single.
And this is coming from a married woman.
She's married? Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And she had a video where she was speaking about men's how to improve as a man, and that was a very odd one and weird one because a lot of her points would also imply to women, but it feels like it's only men that can do it based on her video. And I was like, eesh, that's weird. Like,
If you break it up like that, then you get 2 videos. You get one for women, one for men. Hey,
How to
Miss
be
Sparkles,
confident.
welcome.
hi there, Miss Sparkle. Welcome.
Hello there, Miss Sparkles.
How are you, Miss Sparkle? Maybe mic issues, I don't know. But she has interesting takes.
Oh yeah,
sometime-
no. The titles alone have me curious.
I will be honest. Sometimes I did actually used to watch some of her videos. Sometimes I was very selective on each one, but I used to watch a lot of her content actually, and I think a lot of her videos are into the bigger playlist I created for this podcast here. But yeah, she has interesting opinions.
2 months ago, she has a video titled "Women Are Finally Realizing That Dating is Different from Men." It took you to the year 2024 and a marriage to realize that women are finally realizing that dating is different from men. Incredible. Another one. Girls don't actually care about money. They just need to know you can make money. Huh? You do care about money then. What?
Well, just that you could make it. Hypothetical money.
Anybody can.
Rip. It's like the best title ever. Oh, Courtney Ryan. She is funny sometimes.
Women don't want to hear that this is what men want, but sex. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that.
They don't want to hear it.
Why do attractive women date losers? Awesome. because they think that the man can make money, but it turns out that he can't. That's a little fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Oh my. You just tore apart our channel. That's amazing. That's like
Oh, all right. Well, maybe I did. I wasn't really trying to
To be
do that.
fair, just for thumbnails and titles, which
Yeah,
do seem to be a bit clickbait.
Yep. You beat me to it. Absolutely. I mean,
so we did a Charles reacting to Courtney.
she solves dating within 10 minutes, which is fascinating. She does a tight 10 on dating struggles.
and she's married, you know. How can she
9:58.
struggle?
Well, that's the comprehensive video, but you should check out her shorts. Have you seen her shorts?
Oh, I haven't. Will I have the brain capacity to understand?
So I guess we'll get back
Sorry.
to-
Yeah.
That's fine. That's part of the entertainment.
Single at 38 and
How do you do that?
rejected by matchmaker.
So I recognize that you're lonely. I think there are a couple of different ways to find out who you are. And we're going to kind of speed run this, right? This is like the topic of potentially a whole guide. But a couple things. The first is to spend time with yourself. And you may say, but I'm lonely. I do
Isn't
that
she
all
doing
day.
a lot of that?
There-
Or does he mean get rid of the figurines?
So great! Oh my, oh bro, you just deleted me. But you make a good point. I'm curious to see if he has an answer or if he can explain better. Because she's already doing it. You're right.
Getting a girlfriend
There's a
is
subtle
not an achievable goal.
Have you
I'm-
spent
I'm-
time alone yet?
I'm doing YouTube the wrong way. That is just a big fat bait at the end of it. It's waiting to be just clicked.
So Charles now moved from movies, reviews, and
Yeah.
comedy to dating.
I'm entertaining the wrong way.
to dating advice.
Yeah, just
difference.
There's
you're
a
doing it
market
wrong.
for
Here's
it.
how to get chicks.
Here's-
6 things that'll make you get laid tonight.
They're all money.
Bury the lead. How the last one be? Get a prostitute. Come on, you know how to make money. Spend
Oh
it.
my.
They're all money.
Charles Search is now taking over.
Sorry.
There's a difference between being at home and wanting to be with someone else and spending time with yourself. So like, before stream today, I went for a walk. And I went for a walk with myself. And I just spent time letting my thoughts happen, thinking through stuff. I recognize that I need some time with myself.
I fixed it.
Hey,
Hi there. How are you,
I fixed it.
Sparkle?
I'm fine.
That's good. Are you ready to talk about female loneliness?
Okay.
I guess you are.
Yes, I am.
To like work through a couple things, figure out what to do, figure out what we're going to do today, how we're going to handle an extra stream this week, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes, I love this, I'll go eat on my own at a restaurant when I get a chance to. And people may look at you.
I think she's always eating on her own, otherwise she wouldn't be that lonely. Don't
It
you
might be
think,
the
Fran?
going out thing, though. Like, I got to be honest. Like, I would eat alone many times, but it generally wasn't going out to like an actual restaurant or something. I don't know. Maybe that's his distinction between the two. But you're right. It doesn't sound like she's sharing many meals with many people.
and it comes off a little weird the way he's presenting it. Like, I can eat by myself. Why don't you?
Yeah, you're right, Charles. I think it's condescending a bit what he's doing.
What does this
Um,
have to do with gaming, by the way? Why is his channel called Healthy Gamer?
I have no idea.
Those
to
were
be
kind of the
honest.
initial people that he was talking about. Like a lot of the gamers seemed unhealthy and like weren't really talking about it. So he kind of started that way, and then he kind of went into more internet personalities and stuff instead of just gamers. But yeah, that's where the healthy gamer GG comes from.
He's a healthy gamer.
You and think like, oh my god, like this person is so pathetic. They're eating alone. And it's like,
Do you eat a lot alone, Miss Parko?
Out public?
Yeah.
I don't eat. I don't. No, I don't. I don't do that at all.
Have you tried it?
I've done it when I have had to. I don't want to. It's not because I'm embarrassed or anything. I just don't like eating out in public. I have a thing about eating in front of people.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. I've definitely done it before. Like, if I was at a restaurant, like I was generally by myself. But yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, you lock eyes with somebody else as you're shoving stuff in your mouth. It's kind of weird.
When have you locked eyes with somebody while you're eating?
Oh, I tried to. I'm sorry. You don't do that when you go to a restaurant?
No. No, but I can picture you doing it. Direct eye contact.
This is interesting. Direct eye contact while eating alone.
Well, you got to show them you're not intimidated.
Stare them down.
Look like a serial killer.
Tear them apart.
Like they can think that if they want to. I just really want to enjoy my food my way. I don't have to sometimes like usually I go out to eat with my kids, for example, right? But like going out to eat with your kids is like
that's what it sounds like he's saying. He's like just like he eats the way he wants to. He probably eats really gross. Like
I don't really have time to enjoy my food because I have to worry about feeding them, ordering.
But I think it's kind of easy. But again, I think I'll create a paradox there. But I think it's kind of easy for him to give advice about breaking loneliness while he has people around because he mentioned having kids. But again,
he's married. Yeah, probably.
Again, that's a weird paradox here because this is basically what he was saying. But he has it easy. Why should he talk or something like that?
It's not a paradox. People have such an easy time to say something like, you know what your problem is? Because it's not, they don't have to deal with it. This is what I would do if I were you. I'm not going to do it because I'm not you, but this is what I would do if I were you.
Yeah.
And I'm married, so obviously I have it figured out.
Yeah. That's so true.
I would take marriage advice from him, but not loneliness. Like, he doesn't seem like the type to have ever really been lonely.
Right.
Exactly. Fact.
For them, they're flopping around. They want to watch a screen. Things like it's chaos. I'm wolfing down my food.
Does he not discipline his kids? His kids sound insane. Why would you allow your kids to be freaking out in a restaurant like that? He seems like one of those type of people you wish would leave with their kids. My kids were never like that. I never beat my kids, but I mean, they were never like that. So what is he doing wrong? I don't understand.
Oh my! This is golden. This is golden.
Trying to feed them bites and make sure they're not like the elbow isn't going to hit. If you guys have young kids, you'll know this. The elbow isn't going to knock their cup of water over. So spend time with yourself. Go for a hike. I think nature is fantastic that way. So if we really look at it like
go for a walk
ties to how other people perceive us, one way that we can get away from that whole complex is nature, because nature doesn't care. Like if you go for a hike and you go alone versus go with someone else, like let me give you a couple.
That
nature is
will
nihilism.
Slow you down or push you too far.
They care about you being out in nature.
But yeah, if you go on a hike with someone else, like either they will force you to go too fast or they will slow you down. Like there's no in between, you know.
But you got to find your Goldilocks, hiker. It's going to be fine. They exist.
What people are you hanging out with? That's so rude.
Either they're too slow or too fast, you know.
So there are these
maybe you're the rude
distortions.
one.
It's called black or white or all or nothing thinking. You might want to look into that, Multi. They won't necessarily go too fast or too slow. They might walk along with you.
Maybe. I hope so.
You sound like you're the rude one. You're the mean one. You're too slow. Hurry up and start rushing them. Maybe that's why you're lonely.
And then it becomes a competition, so then they got to go faster than him. You brought this all on yourself, Multi.
Oh my! I'm dead. I'm done.
Scenarios. Let's say that I'm going for a 4-hour hike. 2 hours in, I start to feel tired.
4 hours. Wow.
And I'm like,
That's like, I won't say an entire day, but that's like a good chunk of your day, man. Did you ever went on a hike for 4 hours, Gray?
I have, but I'm stupid. I've gone on like multi-day hikes. But
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not like a regular thing. Like I just remember,
Did you feel
told,
better
"Hey, you wanna
after
go for a
that?"
hike? It's like sure. And then it ended up being like an 8-hour day. It's like I didn't sign up for this. Like what the hell? But you know, you got to pretend like you're cool with it. Just make that intense eye contact.
Fake it till you make it.
Oh my! Did you ever do a 4-hour hike, Miss Sparkle?
Maybe when I was a kid, I used to go to the mountains by my parents take us that, but no, not real, not I'm older now.
What about you,
I walked
Sean?
around the bay, but that doesn't take 4 hours. No.
That length?
It's
No.
moving.
Okay.
I used to play sports, and that was enough. Even that was only an hour.
Okay.
like maybe I should turn back.
Maybe you should turn back. I
And then
hope
if you're
you
with
should.
someone, you choose not to turn back. Why don't you turn back? Because you don't want to be perceived as weak.
You're a
And so
coward.
even if you accomplish your goal, do you feel pride in it? No.
You don't want to feel weak. That goes back to our ego talk we had earlier. You don't
Yeah,
want
that
to
you've
feel
got too
weak.
much of an ego to ask the person to slow down a little bit on your hike. I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. You got me right, Gray. You read me like an open book.
Mhm.
I hiked for the avoidance of weakness. It actually enhances the ego and makes you more insecure. If you go by yourself, you're on the first 2 hours of the hike. And I recognize it's a 4-hour hike, and we said turn around, so it's 4 hours either way, but whatever. It's a 4-hour trail, 8-hour hike, back and forth. You can turn back anytime you want to. No one's going to judge you but you. If you achieved it, you achieved it. If you didn't achieve it, you didn't achieve it. No one's going to clap. No one's going to say you're weak. No one's going to give you any reaction except for yourself. You're not going to post about it on Instagram. Maybe you will, but you shouldn't. It's really important for you to test yourself. If you want to find out who you are, you have to test yourself. And whether you succeed or you fail, you're the only one that knows. And so if you decide to push through and you say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going.
Same amount of
No matter
applause,
what.
though.
And you get to the top of the
Yeah.
mountain, no one's there.
But I need someone because to see that nobody is waiting after that hike is just making me lonelier.
So you need someone to document your hikes and your journeys, your accomplishments, your milestones. Can't just the satisfaction of doing it be enough for you? Hey, I didn't turn back. I did this for myself.
What happened to Sparkle?
It depends on the people. I
I
have
scared
no
her
clue.
away.
Yeah. Or maybe that's a kid thing. Maybe one of his kids did something wrong. Don't know. Maybe internet thing. I don't know.
Yeah, she did say that internet was lagging before.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. Personally, I don't do hikes because I don't feel the need to. But yeah.
You're missing out, man. Multiple terrains. It's fun.
Multi-terrain talk.
Yeah, we could still be MTT.
I'm sorry, my internet's really messed up. It's like my TV's frozen right now, and then it kicked me for no reason, so it's really messed up.
Okay,
Welcome
welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome
Jinx.
back. Do you like hiking? Well, you said you did it as a kid, but did you ever do any hike as an adult, or not really?
I went camping, but not 4 hour hike. We walked down to the river. I don't know how long it took. No, I don't like hiking.
No,
I
that
like
counts.
Yeah, Gray is
it was
always
4 hours
right.
to get to the river.
I mean, you're out in nature. You're going down to a river. That means you got to go back up on the way back. Nah, that counts.
Down in a
So I
vein.
take it you don't hike there, Multi?
No, I don't. Actually, I live in the city. Like the only place I could go on hike on hike would be a kind of mountain. I don't know if we can call it a mountain, but there's a big hill on my town. That would be the only place where I could actually go on hike, but not really. Well, maybe as a kid. Actually, as a kid, I did hike many years ago. I almost forgot about that. That was at summer camp. That's like my
Yeah,
only
that's what you should need to
experience
do
of
at camp,
hiking.
man. Fair enough. Maybe I live in like so I almost really grossed myself out by saying I live in the perfect spot. Okay, so I live in a really shitty state. That's a flyover
That's what she
state,
said.
but it is nice because it has multiple terrains really easily accessible. So I don't know. The fact that it's just right there and it's like, I don't know, a 10-minute drive. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll hike up that hill. Let's do this.
Give yourself
So
up,
I don't know.
sir.
It's probably vocational.
But that's
But
also funny because I don't really have an excuse because where I live, I just take the bus for like 15 minutes, and I would go at that hill I was mentioning, that like mountain downtown. But I just never felt the need to. But maybe that's something to try out. I don't know.
you know, I also might have started this habit because also it was like I wanted to do illicit substances, and it's like, where to do that? Oh, the woods. They're like, 10 minutes away. Let's go do this. So, yeah,
Well,
maybe that's on me.
Here, good luck with that. Cops are always on that hill.
But that's why we went into the hills, the woods. Nobody knew.
You're a handsome bad boy.
I know what state you're from. You're from Louisiana.
That's true. We went to the bayou.
Notorious for their hills.
So many.
This has gotten out of control. I like it.
Okay.
You don't even feel elated. You feel like, thank God it's over.
But
Now I
why
have to go
did you
back.
do it in the first place if you feel like it's finally over?
Yeah, does he need to be elated with every single thing he does?
I don't know. Like there is a certain like accomplishment and like a rush of endorphins when you actually do something that you think you couldn't do. I don't know. Like so when I started walking, like I started rucking, so it's like okay, I can keep adding more weights to the backpack. I don't know. It felt like at times I would get that you know, I can't carry this weight for that far, and then I kept increasing the distance because I couldn't add any more weight to it. So I don't know. I kind of get that. Like if you keep pushing yourself, there is going to be something that you can do that you felt like you couldn't, and it's going to be quite an accomplishment. But I don't know. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't think you'll get that from just setting out on a 4-hour hike. Like Jesus, you got to work up to that.
Yeah.
I guess unless you never hike and you like finally make it for the 4 hour hike. I sing out loud
don't
when I
think
go
you'd
for
come back
walks.
after that.
So
Down. No one's clapping for you. No one's saying, oh, you're such an amazing human being. Look, triumph of the human spirit. Like you walked for 4 hours at a mild incline. Like, great job. That's what you're going to be telling yourself. This is no achievement. Because that's the toxic part of you. That's the part of you that's created when you can't connect with another human being. And you do that enough times and you'll start to realize, you know what? That actually isn't true. I did do it. And I can be proud of this. I got to start somewhere. Even if I can't be proud of it. If you can't be proud of it, no big deal. You did it. You put your mind to it and you did it. So find out who you are. And that happens first and foremost with yourself. Second thing, fourth thing, I don't know, lost track of numbering, is I think that reach out to someone else in an authentic way, which is kind of what this person did.
This I agree with. I think trying to bond with others is a good way. Like I think it's the best way to break that circle of loneliness. Any thoughts on that? I agree.
Yeah, kind of what he was saying about that first thing, though. I think that really adds to this because, when you think of like what her life is, essentially, she's got a couple of friends, but they're distant and they're all not healthy mentally. They're not together a lot. Generally, it's just her with her action figure or figurines that she is given personalities to, and then this fictional husband. So I don't know. Like, it might be a good thing for her to test herself. She might not be doing that. It kind of seems like she's going to like a comforting place, not a way to actually test herself. So once you start doing that, then maybe you could work up to this big thing that seems to have a big hang up about making friends, about actually having a social connection. So I don't know. It might not be the worst advice that he's giving. There might be a reason why he, teaches at Harvard or whatever.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Miss Sparkle?
I missed the part where she has a fake husband. She has a fake in her head. It's not funny.
It's the same one from last week, if you remember that. It's that Reddit.
Yeah,
post
I remember talking to her action figures, but I didn't know she had a fake.
Yeah,
husband.
it's a fictitious husband figure who is one of the cartoons that she watches. I think it alludes to anime, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if
usually was. It's always anime.
yeah, but he has kind of a built-up fictional relationship with him. So
Okay.
yeah.
So she seems like kind of like a lost cause. But
That's so savage.
No one's a lost cause. It's just gonna be a lot of work.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she is. Yeah, but I don't know. Anyways, I've been really, really lonely, and like what I did was I reached out. Like I did Twitter, and then I talked in a chat on YouTube. That's what I did because I had nobody. I was isolated because of my ex, and when we broke up, that's what I did. So, just I agree with trying to reach out.
Yeah.
And it is
you
hard
did
because you're always worried that. See, I used to tell too much about myself, and that's a sign of being loneliness too. And so I know it can be hard, and then be embarrassed because you open your mouth too much or doing stuff like that. So I understand it can be hard. I just can't imagine talking to them because I have tons of stuffed toys. I just can't imagine talking to them and then marrying them without being like having some mental illness that she really needs to go to therapy.
Yeah. That's deep. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing. That's amazing.
Right? So no one is going to appreciate you for who you are unless you actually show them. And this is where things get really tricky. Because if you really show them who you are, you open the door to rejection. And especially if you're like in this case, an attractive woman who's lonely, that's going to it's so devastating, right? Because if I pretend to be okay, and I'm attractive, everyone thinks my life is great. But then if I turn to them and I say, hey, by the way, I'm actually really struggling, really lonely, and I have difficulty connecting with other human beings. What's so terrifying about that is if they turn to you and say, what on earth are you talking about? You're so attractive, you shouldn't have problems.
And that goes back to, maybe I said it, maybe I didn't, but that goes back to, because you are that advantage, you cannot feel something I could feel because I don't have your advantage. And that's invalidates your pain and suffering, and that's kind of disgusting. Any thoughts on that, Dre?
You said it perfectly. It sucks. And yeah, that kind of does suck that people kind of assume that it's just going to be easy because you're beautiful or whatever. I guess I do have.
You don't find yourself attractive because I've had that happen. Yeah, I've had people,
for sure.
And I don't find myself that attractive at all. But I've had people say to me, "Oh, it must be easy being an attractive woman." I don't know what they're talking about.
That has to suck that
right now.
You're getting that invalidation or whatever. Like, whatever. What you're saying doesn't make sense. You're beautiful. Whatever. That would
I got
suck.
this one guy
Like,
who won't stop saying that to me. It must be easy being an attractive woman. It's not. I don't have anything easy. Nothing's handed to me. I don't understand what you're talking about. He won't stop saying it. So I'm about to cut him off. But
yeah, I didn't realize I have like ugly privilege that I've never actually had to like consider. Like, like, did I get this because of my looks or anything? It's like I've never had that feeling or anything like that. That really sucks. I've never been unvalidated that way or whatever, where it's like, yeah, but you've got life on easy mode because you're pretty. I mean, I guess like the whole like white and male thing has come up before, so it's like I guess I can feel the same way, but
Only in the
yeah, that
USA,
would just
bro.
suck.
It's not a
Yeah.
thing here.
yeah. I've been told because I'm a white woman, attractive white woman, I will be able to get a job easy. I've had over 20 interviews and never got the job. I'm struggling, so nothing's handed to me easy. So
You
That
got
just
a
sucks.
like
And
I
on
grind.
said
top of that,
before,
being-
if
Work.
everyone thinks it's easy for you, right? You think they're gonna make it easy? Nobody hands me nothing, but because everyone thinks I'm already having it handed to me. So
Yeah.
And so in that moment, you're opening the door for them to reject you. The challenge of being connected with another human being is, in order to be accepted by someone, the door must be open for them to reject you as well.
I agree with that.
And we're so afraid of that rejection that we can never risk it. And therefore, we can never give someone the chance to accept us.
That's why that goes back to an example I mentioned before. That person lost people. That person I know is liked people, and people didn't like her back, and because of that she's kind of scared to share too much, and she's kind of scared to, you know what, open up and get attached to people, because she's like, they will leave me anyway. So that's a trap. Any thoughts on that, Dre?
why keep asking?
Yeah, that
me?
just sucks. That like hopelessness. Yeah, like I don't know exactly what you do, because then at that point, like, what's the point of going outside? You're just going to feel, I don't know, rain eventually. You're just going to, have something unfortunate happen to you. What's the point of doing anything? Yeah, that just sucks. It's a really unhealthy mindset to kind of be in.
Yeah.
I'm actually in counseling right now for that. I went to my first day yesterday because I'm isolating myself. Because what's the point in not talking to anybody? So I went to therapy yesterday for the first time in 2 years. So
Congrats.
That's a great start. Like, you're in the first phase that you realize you need to do something about it. And a lot of people never go to that point. They just deny it, or they try to flee away because they are scared to solve their stuff, And it's sad that some people are like that, but hey, you're not like that. That's amazing.
Am I Charles Manson?
yeah.
I only saw that like a minute
Hey,
ago.
Charles Manson.
I'm like, wait, maybe.
That's a good idea. He wrote a couple songs for the Beatles, so you know.
You mean they stole?
Huh?
They
stole
what?
them?
No, I'm just kidding. It's one of his claims.
Oh no, there's actually a song.
Helter Skelter?
No, I don't know what song it is. I don't know. I don't know. I said no. I don't know what song it is.
Me neither.
Ghost
Anyhow.
Rider.
Let's play that.
And so we stay stuck. I think the good news is that a lot of that is in our head, right? I'm not saying that mean people don't exist out there, right? So this person had an experience with a boyfriend who was basically very shallow.
Tell me about it. I like your comments. Do you want to add more on that?
No,
I feel
no.
like, no.
I'm going to stop
Okay.
doing that. I didn't realize I'm bringing everything to a halt by.
No.
It's not you, sir.
Sounds. That's part of the
It's not
show.
you.
That's why we react to stuff. It's fine to add more.
It's
Like,
airbagging. It's airbagging the flow.
No, it doesn't.
Pause
We'll agree to
on.
disagree.
Agree to disagree, I guess. I give
And
up.
then this
Power.
happens. Oh,
But people in our
Yeah, I
community
don't want
exist too,
distracted.
where this person shared this, and there were people who were there willing to listen and be compassionate and stuff like that. And like I've said it 1,000 times, I'm going to say it 1,000 more times. Healthy Gamer is more than Dr. K.
so rename your
Who
channel. then.
helped this person connect?
Well, I mean, he didn't name it Dr. K. He named it Healthy Gamer, the company.
Nice comment.
With other human beings. If it wasn't Dr. K, the work has been done. It's y'all. Right? This person is overwhelmed by the responses and support, and they don't have
Full
time to
overwhelmed.
reply to all of the people who are responding. That's y'all. That ain't me. So be a little bit careful about who you open up to by all means. But you've got to give people a chance to reject you if you want to be accepted. So a couple of things just to kind of recap. So someone posted about being an attractive woman who's lonely.
Oh, we're recapping everything.
And for a slice
You know
of
what?
humanity,
Because this
slice
is a
of the internet
recap, I will
that
be
does
right
not
back
compute.
quickly.
Because being attractive is
It's a
the
recap,
antidote
so
to
I'm
loneliness,
outta here, but
right?
you
If you're
guys
attractive,
deal with
especially a woman, then you should be able to make
I
friends
have
very
so many
easily.
things to say right now,
You get
yet we
laid
can't
anytime
pause
you
it.
want to.
No.
Oh my God. Sounds so amazing. The truth of the matter is that any advantage
Pauses and talk so slow.
Yeah, he's worse than me. And I know that was
substitute for,
possible.
like
Pregnant
happiness,
pauses.
Yeah.
Very
protect
pregnant.
you
He
100% from
talks
suffering.
slow and then pause.
Do advantages give us advantages? Yeah. Do they help out some? Absolutely. Or some
Is
of
there
them
a
pretty
5
big?
speed that
Absolutely.
they use on YouTube? I don't think 2's strong enough.
You got to
And
go
yet,
off app for
They're
that.
not a substitute for connection, right? Attractiveness is not a substitute for connection. And in fact, sometimes this is what people who really struggle is that sometimes attractive people are more lonely. And when I say more, I'm creating a comparison. So let's step away from that statement, actually. Are incredibly lonely.
It would be a different
Seems like-
type. Like it's a very surface level lonely. Like people
Why are
would
they
be
got it.
incredibly
fine with
lonely?
you sitting
Because
next to them.
anytime
but,
someone interacts with them, they're not interacting with a person. They're interacting with the shell of a person. They're not interacting with you. They're interacting with your appearance. And the more that people interact with your appearance and all they see is the appearance instead of the person, the more lonely the person becomes.
True. Because I get tons of interaction over my
The real
boobs,
challenge
but
here
it
is that
doesn't matter.
if you share
That's
that
true.
with people,
It's unfortunate.
yeah, I guess I didn't realize I had the privilege that I've never experienced that. That would.
Are you
definitely
kidding
suck.
me? I just realized something.
What?
Rest of the video is a recap.
Okay.
So
Guess we can
I
stop
guess,
now.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, everyone. I didn't thought of that.
Well, those
Hey.
weren't the worst solutions of all. So essentially, it was like start challenging yourself. So that was what he was saying with the hiking, and then start making yourself available, and then realize that most people are not actually going to be cruel. A lot of that's in your head. So a lot of that's kind of that, cognitive distortion. Again, filtering for like that one negative thing. But you do have to make yourself vulnerable, and you might get hurt doing that. That doesn't sound horrible. I think I tried to recap that like 20-minute section, but I don't know.
That 20
Yeah, you
minutes.
did a good job.
section.
I like what my therapist says yesterday to me. She told me, because I tell myself, I think in my head I'm ugly all the time. And she said to write it, think about it as a fact or an opinion. Is that a fact or an opinion? And I think that's good. That's what I'm going to start doing. Does the negative thoughts to tell myself a fact or an opinion? So, and then move down past that.
Yeah. The other thing that helped me, so I had that same advice, and that really helped me. The other one that helped me is when I would like have these negative thoughts that'd say like, okay, and would you ever say that to somebody else? Would you ever say that to like a family member, a friend, or do you think that's unreasonable? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I am being unreasonable with myself on a lot of these things. But yeah, just kind of being aware of it kind of helps break the cycle a little bit. At least for me.
What if you're mean? I'm mean to everybody. So I'm
all right, fair enough.
And I will add on top of that, like, why would you tell yourself you're ugly? Did someone told you you were and you believed that person? Or do you lack self-esteem, or what's
They
the
seem
cause?
trustworthy.
So trustworthy, man. I will give them everything. They deserve it. But yeah, what would be the cause? What's the reason why you don't think you're beautiful? That's
It's my grandma. I
always.
know that, so I already know what the root cause of why Mike was visiting her grandma. So
Oh,
my
she
dad was
was.
really hard on me about appearance. Like really hard about appearance. So
That's sad. So maybe that's something in the lineage where maybe she was told the same thing and she believed it because she was told it, and then she just repeat the circle and she just keep enforcing that bad idea.
she had pictures of herself around the house. Herself in a bikini, herself dressed up as stuff. She dressed up as female Rambo. Don't ask me. I
That's
don't know.
Based.
weird.
I don't know if she really thought she thought it would. She was cheating on my grandpa with this guy who loved Rambo, and she thought dressing up as sexy Rambo would make him happy, but it ended up making him a little upset because he likes Rambo, but he doesn't want to have sex with Rambo. So it was a
That's
whole
what he
thing.
thinks. Has he tried?
Well,
Well,
he
if-
tried, so.
Ah,
So
this is amazing for real. I
yeah. I honestly haven't thought of female Rambo before. That
Me
did bring
neither,
images
it's
to my
like-
mind. I'm wondering what kind of weapon she was holding. But I've got
she
ideas.
had a toy gun.
Oh, I was not going toy gun. I was thinking authentic. Like, is she going rocket launcher? Is she going like the giant, machine gun?
She slept with a
Fair
rifle
enough.
under her bed, and she slept with the rifle under her bed. Oh, and she had a little lady gun. But she really shouldn't have had a gun. Like my grandma was crazy. She shot the front door with a shotgun, so my grandpa took it away. So she's not allowed to have the shotgun
Whoa.
anymore. So she was allowed to have a rifle. She thought there was somebody
Sounds
trying
like
to
it was a
break in the
warning
house, but it
shot.
wasn't. So she shot it. Yeah, that was my grandma was crazy.
Ooh.
Like seriously crazy.
That's very American like.
Not that
You're just-
American. So my
just
door got
above the
shot
border
a
there.
while ago.
Mr. Quebec. Take it easy.
I mean, I only know one.
Are you
One
saying you've never had your door shot at?
No, never.
Really?
She shot from
I don't know. I
outside,
came home from work one day and it's like, why is there a hole in like the glass door?
Yeah, he was hunting.
Why is there a
He
hole
came
in
back
that
from
door?
hunting, and he was
Why
the
is there a
door.
hole in the closet door? Oh damn, there's a bullet in the wall. It's good time.
Yeah. He
So
came home from
I-
hunting and noticed the door was like freaking destroyed. She's like, "There was somebody outside." And she was like, "That's him taking your gun away."
Repeat,
Taking the
there
shotgun away.
was somebody outside.
Where that puddle of blood is.
Oh, wow. Call the cops.
Well, luckily there was nobody outside. So
Not no more, there ain't.
He's somewhere in the garden with a lot of dirt on him.
yeah.
But when you tell me that story, that reminds me of a person I used to know.
Were
That
they
guy,
American?
no, that's the shocking part.
Whatever.
Like he it was
Zionist.
he was one of my co-worker, and that was weird. He had a weird attraction to guns, and he
Oh,
wasn't
because they're
like,
phallic.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
and he was like in his late 50s, and like he would be in debt to buy new guns, and he would be proud to like show everyone his new purchase, and it would have his house full of guns and
It in depth or in debt?
in debt.
DEBT?
Yeah, like
I apologize. I'm
Out of
just
money.
making sure I understand what you're saying.
out of money, like he was always broke because of guns.
And he kept borrowing money to get more guns.
Yeah.
Well, he
And I was
likes-
like, that guy lives in the wrong country, man. Go back
No,
to
he's just-
USA.
Yeah, when the apocalypse comes and you need to get food and you have no guns,
I
who are you
will
going to go
see
ask
him.
for help?
Yeah, we'll go see him. I know he has guns. I've in all of them.
Too bad he's going to shoot you before you make it to his door. Because it's the apocalypse, and you got to protect your food.
The Walking Dead, real life.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my. So yeah, that was very interesting to talk about how to break circle. And next week we will talk about violence in media. I cannot wait.
So we'll pick up where we left off.
Violence.
Violence. That's like a sequel to a sequel to a sequel. We are like Mission Impossible 10.
They're not making any more Mission Impossibles. They're finally done.
No, they will do a part 2.
I think
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Huh?
They changed
Supposedly
the name
part
of it.
2 got canceled, but
They
they might
changed-
still be doing other ones. Just that one didn't make enough that they're going to do a sequel to that.
Which is ridiculous
Yeah, I
because
thought Tom
it's
Cruise was
such a
done.
not a full
He
movie.
might be done, but it's a franchise. He didn't
I
invent
like that movie so much. It wasn't one of my favorite, but I
What's
liked
the
it.
closure?
Yeah, there's no closure. Like the guy run away. They have the key, but the guy is still out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
You sound like you said the gay is still out there. I didn't realize what you were saying.
Yeah. So anyhow, what do you have going on, Gray, on your end of the internet?
Not a ton. The Thinkers every Thursday morning on that darn Kiddos channel. Yeah, check it out. It's fun. Good times. I think everybody here has been on there, so check it out.
Woo!
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got going on, Multi?
Right now I'm quite occupied with the compilation that has progressed a lot. I'm about to finish season 2, and then only season 1 is left. So basically, I've compiled a lot of clips from the Red Blue podcast for the 100th episode we will have next month, and this is very fun to do. Like I selected many places. I'm like, this will be fun to clip. This will be fun to clip, and then I will trim all of that down. It will be a massive compilation. Cannot wait to share that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 4 week.
Comprehensive compilation. Nice job.
Yeah. And I'm not done. I'm not done, and I just enjoy my time doing that, laughing at my bad takes, laughing at DC bad takes, and realizing how much we changed in the last year. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me for now. Miss Sparkle, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
I really nice on Twitter. Just follow me on Twitter. I'm nice. That's it.
Twitter.
I'm on Twitter.
Really nice? Is that what you said? You are
Yeah,
really
I'm
nice?
really nice. I am.
I can hear some sarcasm in that.
What about you, Charles? What do you have going on your end of the internet?
Relatively soon, might be in an hour or two actually. A lot of my supporters sent me movies and stuff for my birthday, and I am supposed to show everybody and say thank you. My birthday was a month ago, so I
was gonna ask.
Oh,
I mean, that's
happy
awesome,
birthday
but it's
is
kind of
a
an
month
obligation.
too
And
late.
yeah,
Yeah.
happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy
it's
birthday.
so not my birthday anymore. It's like by a month and a week.
Wow. How old you are, if you don't mind me asking?
Too old.
Too old? You're never too
You
old.
never ask a lady that. Come on.
Old enough to not give a shit about birthdays anymore, even though I brought it up.
So thank you a lot again. Amazing show. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Miss Sparkle. This is always a blast. And we are out for tonight. Thank you, everyone.